Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel. I know it has been a little while, but I'm back now with a classic that I'm sure we all miss so much. I'm talking about the deep fried McDonald's apple pie. If you like this video, do me a favor, check out my others, and if not, let me know what I can do better. But for now, let's get started with this recipe. So, we're going to start with 3 Granny Smith apples or any other apple that's good to bake and it keeps its form and shape. Then we're going to peel all of them and cut them into small little bite-sized chunks, so you can see right here. For this recipe, I know the apple pie is still available in Europe, unfortunately not in the US anymore, so I had the chance to try it in Europe during my time in Germany and I tried to recreate it as good as I could based on my memory. Also, for the recipe I definitely cut a few corners and try to keep it as simple as possible because we're talking about a McDonald's apple pie, so I don't think we have to reinvent the wheel. Now, after we cut all of our apples, we're gonna heat up 1 tablespoon of 14 grams of unsalted butter in a pan, wait until it's melted, and then we're going to add our apples. Now, keep the pan on medium-high heat to assure that the apples are not going to burn. Give it a little time just to heat up and to start to cook a little bit before we're going to add 1/3 of a cup or 67 grams of light brown sugar. Mix everything together and stir occasionally just until the sugar is melted and the apples are starting to soften a little bit, probably 2 to 3 minutes. Now we're going to add all of our seasoning. I added 2 teaspoons or 10 grams of lemon juice, 1 teaspoon of 5 grams of apple cider vinegar, a pinch of nutmeg, a pinch of allspice, and I added 3 grams or half a teaspoon of cinnamon. Now we're going to mix all of that together. Ensure it's really cooking in and the flavor is distributing nicely before we're going to add 2 teaspoons or 10 grams of vanilla extract, and we're going to mix together 1.5 teaspoons or 4 grams of cornstarch with 1 tablespoon or 15 grams of cold water. After we mix that, we're going to add that into our apple mixture that helps it to stick together and you will not have applesauce running out of your apple pie later on. So mix it in and just let it cook for a little bit until you have a gooey paste and put the whole thing aside to cool down. I also decided to prepare a apple pie topping. In this case, I mixed together 2 tablespoons of sugar with half a teaspoon of cinnamon. Just stir it together, put it aside and sprinkle it on top after we deep fried the apple pie. And now we're going to start with the dough. As I mentioned before, I'm cutting some corners in this recipe, so I'm using store-bought puff pastry, so you can see here. If you want to make dough yourself, don't make puff pastry. Too much work, too expensive. Doesn't really work out, trust me. Instead, use classic pie crust. Easy to make and it will work as well. Or you can even use store-bought pie crust if you can't get puff pastry. Now we're going to cut 3 long pieces. Each of them is around 15 centimeters or 6 inches wide and 20 centimeters or 8 inches long. You cut them in half, as you can see right here, and then you roll them out. They're a little bit wider and fold them once in the middle and cut them in half. Now you're going to repeat that step 5 more times. So you have enough dough for 6 apple pies and then pretty much fill them and put them together. So you use the gooey apple, sticky, something, whatever you want to call that, put it in the middle of it and you brush some water around the corners, put the lid on it and make sure you seal it nicely and really seal it well with a fork, so you can see here in the video. If you don't seal it nicely, all the gooey stuff will run out and you will have some of a mess when you fry them. I also like to cut the border so it looks a little bit nicer, and that's pretty much it. That's everything you have to do to make your homemade apple pie. Now you just have to repeat this step 5 more times and you have 6 homemade apple pies. I like to put them on a baking sheet and freeze them for half an hour just to make sure that they're a little bit more sturdy when I fry them. You can also decide to put them into a Ziploc bag and freeze them for up to a month, I would say. And you can fry them whenever you crave for some homemade apple pies. Now we're going to use a cast iron pan and some canola oil. Just make sure the oil is hot enough. I like to use just a little toothpick, put it inside the oil, and if you see some bubbles coming up, the oil is ready. Now we fry the apple pie on each side for probably around 3 minutes until they're nicely golden brown, and we put them onto a wire baking sheet just that the excess fat can drip down, and sprinkle our sugar mixture immediately on it so it will stick. And now we're done with our homemade apple pie. Again, thanks so much for watching. More videos will be coming up soon, and enjoy making those apple pies and let me know what you want to see next. See you guys next time.